We ready?
Hi, everybody. We're live now. I'm Dale Pinkert, and I'm joined with Trader Mike Venezia, one of the best stock selectors and market tacticians I've met in the last few years. And welcome. Great to be talking to you with what's been happening in the markets, Michael.
Yeah, good morning, Coach, and thank you for the introduction in all sincerity. Uh, I would say that I definitely say the same for you, but I'm not going to speak about that karaoke situation. I still can't get out of my mind. I'm still having trouble sleeping, but I
Yeah,
digress.
I haven't sent you my cover of Purple Rain yet. So anyway, Mike, you and I, we're doing this every week. Once in a while, it doesn't work out, but we were talking about and actually, warning about a correction in the market, a sell-off in the market. And, NASDAQ did come off about 1,400 points. So, about 8%, S&Ps, a couple hundred handles, and the market's trying to dig its heels in here. I actually covered bearish positions on Monday, and then I come in today and I go, well, maybe I was premature. But I look at the market here and, it's harder to find a bull right now. And I'm wondering in your work and what you're seeing, if you think the market correction in the face of what's happening with energy, with tapers, with the potential of a default, if you think this market is bottoming out here, and you don't hear as many people talking about new highs, 4,700, 4,800 as you did. I think that's still a possibility. How about you?
I do too, and this is the reason why. And you know what I mean? There's no exact playbook, obviously, or else there'd be, just one algorithm out. We'd be all chasing one algorithm. So I'm not. This is the way I'm handling it, and it could be. You can call this is at least this is from a not an empirical level, from like a basic. I'm not nervous. I'm not buying anything. I'm not waking up in the morning and I don't have my list of stocks written out that I want to buy on the flush yet. I think the market is still rotating. I still think we're going to go lower. And it doesn't mean that everybody thinks we're going to hit a moving average, like apparently on the S&P, or at least on the NASDAQ. Let me just say, at least everybody's waiting for the NASDAQ to hit the 200-day moving average at 340. Apparently, you could tell me more. 360 on the Qs was the big level that they broke. You know what I mean? And I say this from a seasoned contra trader. And I used to make the hard money, if I digress, if you will, for those that follow the videos, or, I used to trade anything.
Oh, yeah. I used to call it the tough money, Mike, where, I'd be there at an inflection point. I may have been early. I may have had to scale in. And then the market starts going my way. And I go, oh, you know what? I'm just going to book it. And then the windfalls come.
No, I understand that.
You've been there?
It's hard to be early. It's something that I'm still
trading is hard.
No, it is.
Period.
It is hard. I just believe that traders make it harder than it is. I mean, everybody.
Okay.
I think it's a lot more. Well, we're getting off this. We're getting more. Getting out of the topic here. But the reason is that I think traders make it harder than it is. The majority of rules are philosophical and not empirical.
Yeah.
I just don't. But you know what I mean.
So, do you think 340 and OEX is going to be a magnet? You think we're going there, or we're going to bottom? Maybe we're putting in a low here.
No, I don't think we're putting a low. I think we could put I mean, if it will go to at least the the trade gate hub, which I post every morning, and sentiment meters by yesterday, tactical sentiment was a nice bounce to the middle. If we're down a little bit today, which means we're only down 20 handles less. I'm not looking. We're here, so I still think there's room. The VIX, I need for me to even think that there's anything going on that I should be concerned about. And I don't think this is an antiquated index or hand, if you will, that I think it's got to get above 30 before I think there's any fear here. If I do buy, I'm buying best of breeds on scaling on the way down. But stocks that bellwethers that are testing their 200-day moving averages, just like we say the Qs might, are, for example, something like Square. Microsoft is below. I always say on all the videos, the best trades are not the ones that go parabolic like Doc you did, or let's look at like Upstart, the ones that are below the moving average. They say that all the time. The one, and I've learned this. Not this
Like
isn't my,
Microsoft right now?
it is like Microsoft right now. And believe me,
Okay.
I didn't make this up. I'm just trying to,
Yeah.
tell everybody what I learned. And for these stocks to be low, the 50-day moving averages are the best shorts out there. And that's why when I was shorting Citibank, thank God it was below the moving averages right here. And all the other ones, let's just look at that, for example. And knew I was going, they were all above the moving averages, were basically a key to basically get long Bank of America. So when I was short something, and I only learned this about I've been trading a quarter century, the last 10 years, and it seems like a long time. It's not, because the first 15 years were a lot longer than learning that lesson. Is that, it's a lot easier to go. It's easier money. It's like getting back to the opening statement here. I used to make the hard money. I mean, if something went up 9 points, I used to short 10,000 shares and try to make the short-term capitulation. And I did 10,000 shares and make $1.50 on the downside. Of course, it go down another dollar, but then people were buying it down $1 and it opened up $7 the next morning. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I
I'm,
do.
so with that being said, the opening thing about natural gas is I wasn't just waiting for this thing to capitulate, or it just happened to show me yesterday with the volume to the downside yesterday when it broke, it was the first time that it showed me something. When when you couldn't get any more shares to short of this triple ETF boil yesterday. And yesterday, I definitely thought it was the blow off top, because the day before it was the blow off bottom, and it never gives you the perfect trade. So this morning, when I saw coal, which traded already had maybe 100% of its volume as
That's the inverse. That's the bearish
that is the bearish
ETF.
coal, and that's the one I
Okay.
had to trade because there was no stock to borrow on Boyle. And by the way, that didn't lead the action of these two inverse ETFs didn't lead me to think that this was the one-day wonder. And by the way, it's probably still going higher. I don't think the top is even in. I'm looking for a trade. But getting back to what I asked you last week, I said, Coach, in all sincerity, I says, do you believe that stocks to these days really lead the commodity for the large extent? And when your answer was?
They have been commoditized.
Yes. And when I saw RRC yesterday turn around on the biggest volume it's had, and when I saw Clear, a natural gas turnaround yesterday with the biggest volume, and I saw when the other ones, PX did, well, it doesn't look that way, but it had it on the volume.
I took a look at different geographic areas in the world have different contracts, and the squeeze is really on in the UK.
You know
And
what?
you could look at a UK natural gas chart, and if you ever want to have a textbook example of a parabolic move to the upside, it looks like lumber did. A trader buddy of mine pointed out, and you know what lumber did earlier in the year, and it blew off to.
Yes, I did. It was actually, you know what? I actually believe it's lower than it was.
Yeah. So, I mean, one thing about parabolic advances, you never know when the parabola is going to break, but normally when they do, it's over.
No,
And
yeah.
so, that we're definitely in a parabolic advance in natural gas.
Here is
So,
we are. Here's that for natural. Here's the natural gas article. It's right. Europe
yeah,
natural gas surge, and that is what's leading it. Bravo, Coach. I mean, that you should know it. That's why it's going at this moment. So,
yeah.
thanks for bringing that.
And Putin is using it as a weapon, economic, geopolitical weapon. Much of Europe depends on Russian natural gas, including, his friends in the Ukraine. So he's got some leverage over different countries because he's the major supplier.
Definitely. So what else? I wanted to put some quotes there.
Well, go ahead.
What else were we talking about? What type of stock? So,
all right. Well, we had that Facebook. I've been talking about. I've been negative mega cap tech FANG for a few months,
yes, you have.
and once it became news, right or wrong, Facebook and the 60-minute article, and then they slammed Nasdaq Monday. I covered my bearish positions. I'm flat. I didn't flip. I didn't, get long. I just said, well, now it's, you know, now 60 Minutes is talking about it.
That's
Um,
correct.
that's enough. My feeling is when news goes my way, Mike, that I always book it
No,
because
well,
because Adam Button disproves me, but I grew up with someone taught me this a long time ago. People who buy headlines today sell newspapers tomorrow.
listen, it's the oldest cliche in the book is goes back to Jesse Livermore. It's a buy the rumor, sell the news. You could spin it 1,000 different ways. And I understand that. And by the way, could be a microcosm of what the Nasdaq's doing right now. You know
Right.
what? Yeah, I don't know how, if you look at the chart here, 326, the 200 days, 317, it's come down, what, $60. So I don't know much how proverbial meat is on the bone. There's a gap here. That's why it stopped here, this gap. So I don't know how much is left. And I probably would have taken, listen, it might go to 325, it might go to 200, but that's a monster trade. And when the volume came in, that was the time to, I mean, that was good trade. That's what I would have done as well. Not to say
Yeah.
it's wrong or right, but when the news
Yeah.
came in and it's close to every moving average and you know what, the point, everybody's root. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen people use, it's almost like a drug. I've never seen people use something more, but hate something just as much, as Facebook. They're rooting for it to go down. It's mind blowing. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
well,
Maybe it's the way they feel about Captain Zuckerberg, who's out on his yacht right now.
I appreciate that.
Anyway, if you saw the movie, he took it from a couple of rich Ivy League guys.
Right. No,
So
I'm well aware.
anyway, so looking at the market right now, Mike, and I guess this correction could run. I thought there could be a crash, and if we don't settle this debt ceiling issue, there still could be one.
Well,
Do you think we're gonna have a self-inflicted wound like this, and just because there's so much divisiveness that we're gonna try this experiment and default on our debt by the 18th?
first of all, I appreciate, that's, I mean, I could have the proverbial cocktail conversation about that all day long. What I'd like to do these days is I like to really go by the price action and a little bit by the sentiment, as you know that we do.
Yeah.
So you know what? And I'll go, okay, let's go by sentiment right now. I'll even go to what I posted today on TradeGate Hub. And that's
So Mike, you post this every morning. You're sharing your process that you go through every day before the opening, so that you're mentally prepped and have your biases in mind before the bell.
well, I don't know if I have a bias. I definitely have the most important thing you have to have. It's a plan. If you don't have a plan, then so I'm going to sit there at 9:31 and wait for everything to start blinking and go from there. It's a waste of everyone's time.
Well, your plans are not neutral. You're either buying or selling.
No, I appreciate. No, I have a plan on both sides, and this is the plan right here. Updated head. By the way, everything that I post here, and I understand that from what I learned in business in almost my 50 years, and even more so as a trader and for the boutique clients that I have, is consistency. So I do try to at least post it. Everything I do post is consistent. I don't have an ego. If somebody else likes me to post something, and I shouldn't, by the way, I'll be more than happy to post it, explain it, whatever you want to do. It's just an amalgamation of people and my peers, of data that I think is pertinent to take money out of the market and help everybody sit at the table from either a day-to-day basis, a swing trade, or a long-term basis. And here it is right here. What I don't like with the market, getting back to your question, is I don't think there's a lot of cash on the sidelines anymore. This is hedge funds exposure. Hedge funds are buying as the market's coming in. That's bearish. And by the way, I run a proverbial fund, if you will, so I am always mixed. I'm not biased either way. The market, if I can say something, I don't want a lot of wealth to be wiped out. I'm sure it will come. I almost want, like you said here, I almost want a flash crash to happen. So it puts everybody in check. It's possible. It makes it shakes the algos up. It shakes up the amateurs, and maybe the pros can rise a little bit. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking for, the volatility. So what am I expecting when we go to any type of chart here, at least a chart where chart wise sentiment
One
is,
of our viewers, and this is interesting, Steven's on YouTube, Mike, and he said, such a nice breakout with a bull flag at 355 on QQQ this morning. Steven, can I ask you what time frame you're looking at to see a bull flag? It's got to be intraday, short term, because it certainly is not a daily.
I don't know what
Daily
type of,
look.
well, I don't know what that, this is I'm looking at the chart of the cues now as the break.
Yeah, I don't see a
And that's
flag.
fine. If he sees a bull flag, I mean, this is better. I would buy the futures at this gap here. If you look at 353.
Yeah.
But if that's a 15-minute time frame, everybody can be wrong and have an opinion on a chart. It's like an X-ray. Nobody can really, it really is for an interpretation. But I would, if he could just at least clarify what time frame he's looking at, and we can go from there. That'd be
Yeah.
great. So
anyway, appreciate the comment. So Mike, anything that you're getting on yields? I think real estate and utilities were weak yesterday. The only thing that tempers me from looking for, rates to continue to the upside is if risk off continues. And, part of risk off is my bailiwick, and that's $1.
right.
And, the dollar, really, the market is in the hands of the Forex traders right now, because if this dollar rally continues, it's going to continue to deflate many different asset classes. A strong dollar is usually negative for
The majority
assets.
of them, yes. And
Yeah.
nobody wants to be trading DuPont the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Either,
Right. But if we get a break in the dollar,
well, there's the TLT right here.
I think that would give the market a lift here.
Yeah. Well, there's the TLT here. I mean, this
Yeah.
is more than usual, if you will, for lack of a better
Right.
term. This is prevalent. People are talking about it. Now, that's what I call a bear flag. I don't know about you, Coach.
Yeah, that is.
But
Yeah.
and that's under every moving average. And I don't know I don't know what the bond guys do there for any left these days, but I leave that up to the pros. But that doesn't look good to me. Any type of bounce here would look to be shorted, which would lead to be bearish from any bearish bounce. That's
That whole rally we had this year looks like just a bear market rally that's rolling over here.
It does. It does.
So higher yields, is going to make it difficult for tech.
Yeah.
And
Apple.
there's Apple. Yeah. Apple, I showed the rising wedge at 158 on our platform. I don't know, for weeks up there at the 158 level. And, we've had a pretty good break in Apple too.
Yes, we have.
So, most of the FANG stocks, Google put in a pretty negative day. So,
like it's
oh,
I don't see, this is the thing. I don't, I have fortunately, I'm fortunate enough to have a couple of accounts with a couple of different styles, and I like to say without rules, there's chaos. And within those accounts, I don't cross the streams, if you will. One account I don't short in. But this is a time where I start building a list to put together, long term. For example, I like the fact that good quality stocks are coming down a lot faster than the volatility is going up. If the VIX was over 30, then I'd be trading a lot more. But now I think it's a decent time to get a laundry list of things to buy here. I don't even think that things are that volatile. As a matter of fact, they're quite orderly. Yes, yeah. I know that things are down. It looks bad, but it's orderly to me. Okay, let's give an example. I think I traded it at somewhat of a high level. It's what time is it now? 9:59, and the market's making moves. I'm not even looking at quotes. When, by the way, I think everybody and you would agree that if it really came down to it, I would excuse myself and do what I have to do, for lack of a better term. But I'm not. So I don't know if that to me is bearish to a degree right there. If I'm not really, if I'm lackadaisical, for, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're saying there's still a lot of complacency in the market.
I'm not even looking at quotes. I'm not even looking at quotes, and I have a decent amount of capital here. I'm looking about Square. I might put on a position. I'm not going to lie. I'm looking at that to buy SQ. What is this? A couple of indicators just went off on Square for me. You know what? I don't know why, but If it breaks above the 200 day, I might have an interest. But with that being said, that right there gives an example of my last idea gives an example where we're at in the market. If my best idea indicator can come up with square, and by the way, it is showing relative strength only down $2 in a week tape. So I mean that says something right there. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I'm going to go back and buy Continental Resources back on its dip. I think it's a crowded trade right now. I'm just saying, look at the VIX, and the VIX it's just, you know what I mean? Let's look at the proverbial the 15-minute chart. It's got nothing. It's not even in a week. What is this? What chart is 15-minute? Let's go to 2 weeks. It's not even a 2 week high, and the market's at lows for 2 weeks. I'm not nervous. So
Yeah.
I know
Okay.
what that says.
Okay, Mike. So at TradeGate Hub, what are you trying to do? Are you interested in mentoring and teaching people here with your methodology or possibly
I'm here to bounce. Listen, I'm here to have everybody eventually get on my level so I can bounce ideas off each other. But
okay.
I understand that we're gonna walk before we're gonna run. And listen, like I say a million times, my process isn't the best. I just maybe know how to implement it better, my style better than people. I will say this though, if everybody can look at my dossier or where I come from or go through past videos, I'm not throwing some abnormal method out there. I'm basically taking what Jesse Livermore would do and everybody to Steve Cohen or David Tepper. It's based upon price action, volume, and good range. That's all it is. I'm not trying to come up with a new invention. And with that, I post all these sentiments, indicators that are empirical and both fundamental. Jim Cramer I used in an example. Chinese jets menace Taiwan. We're in a situation where actually it might be a possibility where Chinese might shoot down a jet. I mean, that's a possibility. So with that being said, and he might be the Joe Sixpack, no disrespect to Jim Cramer, but people listen to him, and to a degree, the masses maybe listen to him at least for the short term. So what I'm saying is I don't know where we're going long term, but for everything that I post here every day within big popper stocks with large range, relative volume leaders, high option volume, all stocks above moving averages. Like I said, I'm certainly here to invite you to sit down and join us for the meal. We're giving you the fork, the knife, and the spoon, and we're trying to give you everything to sit and take money out of the market. I apologize if it's a cheesy cliche. I don't think it is, because we are, we produce, but these are things that we give every morning in TradeGate Hub. And certainly, like I said, everybody wants something to put in. We'll put it in if it's going to help everybody in the team. So if I'm going to mentor, great. It helps me definitely, because I know that I go over my rules, just like LeBron James takes 500 foul shots at Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods hits 1,000 balls with his pitching wedge when he knows he could be hitting a driver. It may help me. So if that's selfish, it may be so. So I'm helping TradeGate Hub and our clients, but hopefully it even more so helps even more of the masses, because that's what it's helped out in the future, in the past for me. So that's what I'll leave it.
Okay, Mike. I want to wish you good hunting the rest of the day. Looking forward to being with you this fall trading season. And, our mission is to build up and edify traders every day. And we're getting some questions on YouTube. Stephen Harrison's interested in your methodology, which we just covered a lot of it. And I'd recommend to Stephen that he contact you on the website, and maybe you could answer a question for him. But if you want to learn Mike's methodology, just be in main chat every day, and you'll see the process he goes through. Right, partner?
The methodology in a nutshell is a combination of sentiment and price action. It's empirical and it's fundamental. If it doesn't have good volume, if it doesn't have a range, and it doesn't have good price action, I have no interest. And there's reasons for that. And I'll just get to the point. Volume, I don't want to buy 50,000 shares of something, be half the float, because if somebody steps in and wants to sell something, I'm finished. Range means if it's not moving, why am I going to be in it? I don't want to be the first in the pool. First is usually wrong. And good price action, I go through options. I go where the money's flowing. You know what I mean? Where the big guys are was where the money is, and that's where I go. And I try to lead you to that. With stocks that trade 50 million shares a day, there's plenty of money for everybody to be in there. Any type of hedge fund or any guy that trades 100 shares. So there's plenty of the pie for all the stocks that we trade with range. And you know what? They might not work, but if you look, but I would implore Stephen Harrison, if you will, to go back to any of the videos. And this is it right here. This is all I'm interested in. BTBT traded 71 million shares. It traded 1,000% of its float. It finished near the high, and it was up $2, 36%. I'm interested. That's all. Simple. You know what I mean? If I'm going to if I'm in South Beach and I'm going to a strip of nightclubs, and if 4 of them are closed and one's packed, I'm going to the one that's packed. Simple.
He may not understand yet, because why, Mike? You can't learn experience. It happens with the passing of time.
It shouldn't.
Look how long it took you. Okay.
It's still taking a long.
Okay, and you're still growing. But you know what? You may not be able to learn experience, but you can learn from the experienced.
Yes.
Okay.
Listen, yeah. It's the learning curve for everybody here it's great. It's a lot greater, if you will, or I don't know what the proper word is, shorter. And I don't want to say like when I used to go to school, I have to walk 5 miles uphill, blah, blah, blah. But when we
Did you have holes in your shoes?
Yeah, exactly. I had to carry out whatever it was, whatever made it hard. You know what I mean? But now we're here. There are simulated. It's not going to take you. Be honest. It's not going to take you as long. It's not going to take you this long if you listen to this. If you focus, you have a method, and you have a simulated platform, and then go to a real platform and start slow. That's the way you do it. You don't have to. Back when I was started, trade $1 million. Literally was the equivalent of throwing in the deep end without a life preserver, and you learn how to swim the hard way, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be that way anymore, and that's why we're here. Bottom line.
Well, Mike, I want to wish you good fortune with your top pick in natural gas. I agree with you. It takes really a lot of faith in your trading ability to try and pick a parabolic top. And I know you've done it before. I know you've been run over before, but wish you luck on that position, and may all your whole portfolio blossom this during this fall trading season.
I appreciate it.
And it's our goal to get as many people on board so they have a great fall and they're set up for Christmas and New Year's.
It really is. Like I said, we missed the open, Phil. We missed the open. And the reason why is we didn't really need to miss the open to learn our lessons again and hear ourselves talk. And that'll show you how sincere we are, and who's ever out there, how sincere we are about trying to help them go forward and take money out of the market. That's all.
Thank you, Mike.
Have a good day, Coach.
All right. So that's a wrap, everyone. Good luck in this volatility. Remember, it's okay to be wrong. It's not okay to stay wrong. We'll see everyone tomorrow. And most of all, think about this. You're out there, you're speculating. That means that you're in a decent financial position. So, there are some people out there that are making a decision between, should I get my medicine or buy food? So don't forget to count your blessings and appreciate that you're in a position that you are to try to take advantage of markets by assuming risk because you have risk capital. Adios, everyone. This is Coach signing off, and we'll see everyone tomorrow.